not the same as levying taxes willy-nilly. This was all, a lot of this is because of the flood. The levy recertification and the 2 street projects that you just
I was
did.
going to say, in the sense of what has happened and the reason we are where we are, Stewartville wasn't underwater 5 years ago.
You're absolutely right, but we didn't, can we afford to carry over $10 million debt?
Well, when we did the Pine Meadows Lane housing, there were a lot of people that thought we couldn't afford to take on 4 different bond issues there either. Those are almost all paid for now. So where would we be without those 60 homes or whatever it is up there?
You are preaching gloom and doom, Roger, and that's just fine, but there is a path to the end of the tunnel here.
And those debts,
There is a path, it's gonna take some responsible management to get there.
You said the word.
We're not destitute.
There's a lot of, the wants are bigger than the needs.
And there is the wants and needs questions too, but
Absolutely.
there's wants, needs, and opportunity. And we can stand here and break our arms, patting ourselves on the back, saying, I saved $1 now, but it's gonna cost us more to do it later. Did we do anybody a favor?
Did we? That's, who knows? How can you tell?
But I am worried about this. I mean, I put my path out there
If we
a couple
need
months ago, and it got, excuse me, Mr. Munke, I put my path out there a few months ago. I thought what the best idea was, and the library board called it the last option. And that's fine. I thought it would be easy, I thought it was simpler, I thought it was cleaner. You would have gone for 16 to 4,200 square feet going down to the Muni.
And it's still
Better,
way short.
better than nothing. And I think it would have been a lot of people would appreciate having that. And there's ways that could have made it work. I think this would have been a much better city hall, but that's not the path we're on right now. I mean, council set that path. Are we gonna provide the tools to make it happen or not? I've moved on. Library here, city hall down there. Are we gonna do what we need to do to make it happen? And if we aren't, why did we make the motion to do it to begin with?
I think the number that I would be comfortable with and would support wholeheartedly would be $500,000.
USDA money?
Provided by the city. Fundraising, if you can still go out and raise your $1 million, do it. By all means. If all you can raise is your $200,000, do it. I guess that's up to you.
Yeah, and my whole board has not even,
We haven't discussed this.
Yeah.
this is 2 hours old for when we brought it to the table, so.
Just for a point of clarification, Vern, are you talking, this is just so I can wrap my mind around it, is that $500,000 after the city hall or with the city hall? After, okay.
Basically I'm looking at the FEMA money and some extra cash that I think that we can raise without borrowing. I think that we can do that within our normal levy situation. But, like I said, over and above that, you can still fundraise.
The way I understand it though, we have to do the project to get reimbursed. So we would have to bond or take this loan out for that amount, then apply for reimbursement through FEMA. But then, if you got it, then you make a big chunk payment.
And that's a financing arrangement that I would be willing to support.
Okay.
If we are not stuck with a 10, 20, 15, 40 year repayment schedule that's gonna end up costing the city taxpayers double.
Right. I don't think we ever envisioned riding that thing out for 40 years anyway,
Well, you know,
because the,
we've got a few other payments to make too.
right, but,
And we-
but in 15 years, 75% of our debt comes off.
The USDA loan
Right,
was
that's
what,
assuming that there aren't gonna be any more projects, but there will be. And I wanna make sure that we're
43.
guarding.
43, and that's programmed in. Mike had that paid
I
for when we
understand,
looked at it.
I understand, but there will be other projects that come along. This thing will not operate in a vacuum for very long.
Certainly not.
We haven't even touched the Hamlet property yet. We don't know what's gonna happen there.
The infrastructure's in the ground.
It's there. We're just paying the bills.
So what, I guess, what we're saying is there's no like hidden costs that we have to put a water tower up or something like that.
Right. But there might be some help that we need to get people in there.
And the EDA's got some funding for that, but anyway,
Yeah, that's off topic.
I hear what you're saying.
Well, food for
But-
thought.
But, yeah, I'm just sorry, Sue, but
No, I
there's just, it's
I
not
wanted
simply
you-
about this, there's also bigger picture things too. I mean, we're talking about taking on debt, and you got it right here, I mean, borrowed materials. 43% of the borrowed materials are the citizens of Rushford. Who's paying off the debt? 100% on the city. I mean, there's at the risk of thinking big picture. I mean, it is just that's just as the way things get tighter and tighter. You just look at that harder and harder. That's not fair, and that's just the way it is. And it is hard to ask the Rushford taxpayers about that. And personally, I don't use the library. I've given you DVDs. I've dropped off stuff here. But I'm a mayor. You're a mayor, you got a city, you got a library. That's all there is to it. And it's one of the things that makes us a full-service community. But it just, everything just makes you think big picture now, right now. How government does things.